Hey everyone, it is Dennis here, and in this video we're going to go over the pitfalls of using ChatGPT. Yes, it is a very, very cool, good, amazing tool, but it has its downsides, and we're going to talk about that before we exit the section here. So first thing that you need to know is that ChatGPT is not perfect. A lot of tech blogs talk it up like it is perfect. A lot of people on Twitter sing its praises every day. Like there are accounts dedicated to it, but and it's true because ChatGPT has raised my personal productivity by 10 times. That's 1,000% productivity gain. It's crazy, but along with that are some things you're going to need to know about. For instance, errors and incorrect info. ChatGPT has access to what it has access to. It has a bunch of information. That information is pulled from the internet, which means some of it is great and some of it is not great, just like the internet. So it can give you some bad stuff, and you're going to have to know about that. It has frequent outages, and it's not there when you need it. It's so frustrating when you do need it and it's not there, so you're going to have to plan around that. We'll talk about that later. And then finally, it's not the best writer. It's a fast writer, it's efficient, and it's okay. It's mediocre, it's middle of the road, and there are ways that you can fix that, which is, what we'll talk about during this course. So first, a little story. I didn't lose. I almost lost millions of dollars for my client from a small ChatGPT mistake. So here's the story: is I was working as the head of creative for an ad agency that works with nonprofits and charities. Okay, so we're doing this pitch. It's a late night pitch. The people are overseas, so I'm up at midnight working on this, and I'm using ChatGPT to assist me. And we're doing a case study about a child who had some intestinal obstruction, and we gave them surgery and we helped. We cured them. Now, somewhere along the way, as I fed this story into ChatGPT, it threw in that the child had cancer. So the final presentation made it look like the child had cancer. This deal ended up being worth to the agency, to my client, it ended up being worth a $10 million deal. Okay, so it's bad to get a little detail like that and claim that you can cure cancer, or that you did. It's very, 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 very bad. So, some quick thinking on the spot saved the deal, and we ended up making it. But ChatGPT did its best to sabotage us, and this is me saying to you that there is no excuse. You have to check everything. Your assistant can't check things because that gets by an assistant. A little detail like that, or a spell check, it doesn't matter. This is something that you need to be on, and you need to have your big brain paying attention to all these little errors it can insert into your stuff. The second point here is that ChatGPT isn't reliable. It's going to crash and burn. I'm talking about service outages. I'm talking about it just not cooperating. It will stop typing mid-sentence. It will throw an error. It will throw an error again. It will just be offline for a few hours to a few days. And it might not actually be offline for a few days, but whenever you try to use it, it won't be there. So I need you to think about your backup plan. If you're going to be doing something that is going to take 3 days, give it 6 days. That way, when ChatGPT doesn't cooperate, you're prepared for it. It's just, you have to take that into consideration. And then this is why ChatGPT is boring. Okay, so the way that this works. The way that ChatGPT works is it's a predictive algorithm, just like your cell phone. Like if you start typing something and then you could click like the auto predict for the next thing that you're going to say. That's kind of how ChatGPT works. And with your cell phone, it's been training itself from you and everything that you write. Now with ChatGPT, it looks at the whole broader scope of the internet. And that is what ChatGPT is using as its training data, which is great because it means that you don't have to train it yourself. That's why it's so convenient, and that's why everyone's hopping on board. But here's the problem. The problem is that everybody who uses ChatGPT is using the same training data right now. That means a lot of people's stuff are starting to sound a little similar. On job posting websites, you're starting to see no AI, if you use AI, we won't pay you, like that sort of thing from clients because they can tell. So maybe your customers can tell too. So that's something that we're going to address moving forward, is some things that you're gonna have to do to tweak what you get out of it. So all this is to say, be prepared. These are not things that might happen to you. These are things that will happen to you. They've happened to me several times while recording this course. It just happens. That's actually some of the reason why there are a few PowerPoints in here. I didn't anticipate doing as many PowerPoints, but ChatGPT just didn't want to work when I needed to record this for you. So I ended up taking screenshots. That's how unreliable it is on a tight deadline. So, let's go over what you could do. Double check your work. I'm not talking about, spell checking. I'm talking about the details, the words, like what the message is. You need to double check that because ChatGPT might have inserted a kid with cancer, or it could have inserted some political thing into, your social media campaign, and you don't want to have that happen. God forbid that ChatGPT starts giving legal advice on your behalf, and now you're liable for all this legal advice. You know what I'm saying? So double check that it's saying what you think it's saying. Point number 2, have a backup plan for when the service is down. Give yourself double the amount of time that you think that you need. And point number 3 is change it up. When you get something out of ChatGPT, you physically manually change it after the fact. When you ask something, don't ask it the same way. Don't ask generic stuff. Feed it with information that nobody else is feeding it, and then your stuff is going to be very, very unique compared to the way that other people are using this right now. Because other people are just typing in whatever. You have the opportunity to have your stuff stand out by approaching it different. AI is not sacred, as I like to say. It is a tool to be used, and you need to use that tool. All right, so in the next video, we are going to wrap up this section about preparation, and then afterwards, we'll move on to the next one.